Israel. It's one of the most talked about nations on earth, often controversial, always fascinating. A tiny nation surrounded by deserts and conflict, yet bursting with innovation, vitality, and a fierce determination to thrive. For Americans, Israel is often seen through the lens of politics, conflict, or religion, the people themselves. Israelis have quietly built a culture defined by innovation, resilience, community spirit, and an indomitable ability to adapt and overcome. Today, let's dive deep into what Americans could truly learn from Israeli people, not from politics or conflicts, but from how Israelis live daily life with courage, creativity, and a deep sense of shared responsibility. 1. Resilience thriving under pressure. Israelis live under constant uncertainty. They've endured wars, political upheaval, economic challenges, and daily complexities. Yet rather than breaking, they've adapted remarkably. Israeli culture has embraced resilience not as a choice, but as a necessity. The Hebrew word for resilience, chosen, captures something deeply cultural, turning adversity into growth. In America, comfort is often expected. When hardship strikes, we're often unprepared, anxious, even panicked. But Israelis teach us something crucial. Hardship doesn't break you, it shapes you. Instead of fearing struggle, Israelis use it as fuel for innovation, creativity, and emotional strength. Imagine an America where challenges strengthen our spirit rather than break it. Israel, despite its size and limitations, is famously known as the startup nation. Its creativity in agriculture, medicine, cybersecurity, and technology has transformed global industries. Why? Because Israelis innovate from necessity. With limited resources and endless challenges, creativity becomes survival. In America, we often think innovation comes from an abundance, more resources, funding, and opportunities. But Israel shows us something powerful. True creativity thrives in constraint, not comfort. From drip irrigation that revolutionized agriculture to life-saving medical technology developed under pressure, Israel proves limited resources can spark incredible creativity. Imagine an America where constraints weren't obstacles but catalysts for groundbreaking ideas. 3. Community, your neighbor is your lifeline. In Israel, community isn't just important, it's essential. Neighborhoods are tightly knit, families deeply connected, strangers supportive. Israelis depend on each other daily, knowing collective strength outweighs individual struggles. In America, individualism dominates. We prioritize personal success, independence, and privacy. But this can create isolation, loneliness, and weakened communities. Israel reminds us something crucial. Life is easier when lived together. Israelis know deeply that your neighbor isn't just a neighbor, they're your lifeline. Communities bond closely during crises and celebrations alike. Imagine an America where neighborhoods felt more like families, less like strangers. Israelis are famously blunt. They speak directly, honestly, without sugarcoating. In America, politeness often dominates. We soften truths, avoid difficult conversations, prioritize feelings over honesty, but Israelis see directness differently. Honesty strengthens trust. When Israelis disagree, they say so openly. If something bothers them, they express it clearly. It's not rudeness, it's genuine communication, real emotional transparency. Imagine an America with less hidden resentment, fewer misunderstandings, and stronger relationships built on direct honesty. Most young Israelis serve in the military not out of love for conflict, but out of responsibility to their country and community. This compulsory service builds discipline, teamwork, and responsibility. Young Israelis gain leadership skills, resilience, and maturity early. In America, military service is often distant for most people. Responsibility to the community is often optional, easily avoided, or delegated to others. But Israel shows clearly, responsibility creates maturity. Imagine an America where serving community, whether in military or civilian roles, was a rite of passage, shaping character, leadership, and shared purpose. 6. Learning is survival. Israel places enormous value on education schools, universities, innovation hubs, research centers all thrive, driven by a national belief that education equals survival. Education in Israel isn't optional. It's essential to overcoming limited natural resources and complex challenges. From agriculture and medicine to cybersecurity, lifelong learning drives the nation's success. In America, education sometimes feels optional, costly, controversial, and inconsistent. Israel reminds us clearly, education is survival. Imagine an America deeply invested in education, where lifelong learning is deeply valued and practically applied, strengthening communities and economies. 7. Healthy patriotism. Israelis are famously patriotic but openly critical of their government, policies, and society. Unlike America, where patriotism often feels polarized, you either celebrate or criticize. Israelis combine fierce pride with honest self-reflection. Criticism isn't anti-patriotic, it's essential to improving their nation. Imagine an America where patriotism isn't blind loyalty but constructive, passionate, and always evolving. 8. Start small, think big. Israel's size is small, yet it thinks and acts boldly. Israelis launch ambitious startups, global initiatives, and technological revolutions from tiny offices and limited budgets. Why? Because in Israel, ambition isn't limited by size, it's defined by courage. In America, big often feels essential. Big budgets, big resources, big teams. Israel teaches clearly. Small actions can yield massive results. Imagine an America embracing bold action, knowing you don't need unlimited resources to make a global impact. Just courage, creativity, and relentless determination. 9. Strength from differences. Israel is famously diverse Jewish immigrants from Russia, Ethiopia, America, Yemen, Arab Israelis, Druze communities, countless others live together. Despite differences, Israel maintains surprising national unity, bound by shared responsibility, common challenges, and collective destiny. In America, diversity can feel polarizing, sometimes dividing rather than uniting. But Israel reminds us clearly, diversity is strength, unity is choice. Imagine an America drawing strength from diversity, bound by shared purpose and respect, not divided by differences. 10. Protect what sustains you. Israel takes environmental protection seriously, not just from idealism, but necessity. Water scarcity, limited land, harsh climates forced Israel to pioneer sustainability, water recycling, desert agriculture, and clean energy innovations decades before others. In America, conservation often feels optional, controversial, even partisan. But Israel shows clearly, protecting nature isn't politics, it's survival. Imagine an America embracing conservation as essential, not optional. Understanding protecting our environment sustains our lives, economy, and future. Final thoughts, lessons in strength, innovation, and unity. So, what could Americans genuinely learn from Israelis? We could learn resilience is a powerful strength, not just a virtue. Creativity thrives from constraint, not comfort. Community bonds build genuine security. Direct communication strengthens trust in relationships. Responsibility and service build character and maturity. Lifelong education is essential for personal and national survival. Patriotism combined with honest, constructive criticism. Bold action requires courage, not resources. Unity from diversity, bound by shared purpose. Conservation isn't optional, it's critical to survival. Israel, despite complexities and controversies, offers powerful human lessons. Its people embody resilience, creativity, unity, and responsibility daily, often quietly, powerfully, and practically. These lessons aren't political, they're deeply human. And perhaps in a noisy, complicated world, these human lessons are precisely what America needs most. Imagine an America strengthened by Israeli-style resilience, innovation, unity, and courage. Not politically, but practically, personally, deeply. It's not about becoming Israeli, it's about becoming more resilient, creative, responsible, and unified ourselves. Because perhaps the greatest lessons aren't political, they're human. And perhaps the best teachers aren't politicians or celebrities, but ordinary people quietly living extraordinary lives of courage, innovation, and responsibility. Let's embrace those lessons from Israel. Let's strengthen America through deeper resilience, stronger community, clearer communication, lifelong learning, bold action, healthy patriotism, diversity, and essential conservation. Because true strength isn't size, it's spirit. True innovation isn't abundance, it's necessity. True unity isn't uniformity, it's embracing difference with shared purpose. Israel reminds us clearly, strength isn't measured in resources, it's measured in resilience, community, and character. Perhaps that's the most powerful lesson of all.